What is going on, guys? This is Michael Williams from Cartoon Universe, and here we are, once again, just after the Steven Bomb, and before it even airs on television. Here we are, discussing even more Steven Universe leaks, and it makes me sad. I'm excited, but I'm sad. I'm sad that we cannot enjoy these nice things without them getting somehow ruined beforehand, and it's annoying, especially since this isn't even supposed to air for quite a few weeks, and we just finished the Steven Bomb, and the Steven Bomb has not even aired on television yet. So this is kind of a bummer, but we're gonna talk about this anyway. It's just, I was not expecting this so soon. This actually just leaked last night. We have the 2-minute clip and the screenshots for the premiere of season 5, which is the episode Stuck Together, which thereby confirms pretty much the Zap to It leaks, which we pretty much assumed was going to be accurate anyway, since they usually are. And this confirms the rest of those episode titles as well. We'll be doing a full thing of predictions on those episodes probably next week sometime. This week we're going to be focusing more so reviewing the Steven Bomb 6, but this is kind of a bummer, but we're gonna talk about it. I was not ready for this. But yeah, so let's dive right into it. If you do not want to be spoiled, obviously, I would turn back now. Have you turned back yet? Why are you still here if you don't want to be spoiled? So obviously this episode starts immediately after I Am My Mom, right after the cliffhanger, which is kind of a bummer. I wish we could have simmered on that cliffhanger, which is a really dramatic moment, really intense, a lot of emotional content in that cliffhanger, and I wish we could have just kind of sat on it for a little bit, but it looks like we're just kind of gonna dive right into the action now. We're gonna know exactly what happens right after. So Aquamarine's ship is basically floating right next to Earth, so they're not too far yet. They're probably putting in coordinates and all that whatnot. And we see Aquamarine just kind of boasting about how easy it was to catch Rose Quartz, and how she's just so shocked that it was that easy, that the leader of the rebellion, the Crystal Gems, was able to just be handed over so quickly with no effort. And Steven's just kind of playing the part. He's like, yep, it's me, Rose Quartz, leader of the rebellion, leader of the Crystal Gems. I love shattering diamonds, which is really dark thing to say. Pretty messed up, Steven. Steven is a savage, as we could see from time to time, and Aquamarine is basically like, yeah, you like shattering, well, just wait till the diamonds get a hold of you. You're gonna be wishing you were shattered, boy, which is like super scary. I could only imagine the type of torture devices that the diamonds have. So this is not looking too great for the Steven, but one of the topazes actually finds Lars behind the little staircase area, and Steven is, of course, shocked and appalled that Lars is still on this ship. I guess in the midst of all of that action, nobody noticed that Lars did not jump off the ship, which is understandable, because I didn't notice it till right after the episode ended. So I could only imagine if you're living that, not being able to notice that would make the most sense. And Steven is like, nope, deal's off. The deal was no humans get hurt, and that's a human right there, and he needs to be alive and safe and on Earth, home, where no one's gonna bother him. And Aquamarine's like, oh, I'm so sad for you. Oh, your deal didn't work out. Obviously being her sassy Aquamarine self. And yeah, Steven's just kind of in a bind at this point, because he can't really fight back. Topaz and Aquamarine are way stronger than he could ever imagine to be, especially Aquamarine, who single-handedly froze Alexandrite like it was nothing. And yeah, so basically now Steven and Lars are captive. There's nothing Steven can do about it at this point. And Topaz basically fuses. The two Topazes fuse, and they stick Lars and Steven inside their body of light as they fuse, as we saw in the Steven Bomb. And now they are, as you might say, stuck together. And that's pretty much where it cuts after Aquamarine boasts a little more. And that's all we get for that clip. So I'm excited to see where this goes. There is something that in the screenshot that kind of gives us a hint at where this arc might be going potentially. I hope it gets a little more deep than that. But we're going to talk about that right now. So we see Topaz at a computer or a coordinate thing of some sort, and we see Steven and Lars are, of course, stuck within them. It looks like they're kind of trying to analyze Topaz's behavior. They look very confused as to why like Topaz just doesn't talk and she's just stoic. What is her deal exactly? And this screenshot right here is actually part of the clip, or at least like right after it ends, where Aquamarine is just kind of boasting about how Steven's deal is not going to go through, and Steven's obviously pissed off because his friend is now involved in his business and in his nonsense and the mess that his mother made, which is exactly why he gave himself up in the first place. So that's pretty annoying. And now we see Steven talking to Lars, stuck inside Topaz, and then in this one we see Steven's pants are off for some reason. I couldn't tell you what's going on there. That's definitely something. The only thing I can imagine is Lars took his pants off because he was hot and Steven asked him to do that favor or something. Or like, because they just came off right there because we see the pants on the ground. Pants on the ground. You do you, Steven. You get comfortable in space, guy. And then we see Lars crying. I guess Lars is obviously very afraid for his life, and just maybe he might be regretting not saving Sadie. I don't know if we're gonna get to that point yet. Maybe it is possible because Lars overall is nicer. He's just still kind of a coward. And I was really disappointed when he didn't end up saving Sadie. That kind of pissed me off because I was like ready for him to finally have that triumphant redemption moment, and he didn't have it. But now he might be kind of simmering on the fact that he didn't save Sadie, and he may never see her again, and he may never see his parents or anyone on Earth, and he could potentially die. So he's obviously having sort of a crisis right now, which is pretty understandable. I'm hoping we can get some very genuine emotional moments between Steven and Lars, because it does look like Steven is talking with Lars right here, and you know, he looks kind of distressed as well. So hopefully that might be the same conversation. So hopefully we can get some really genuine moments between those two. Once again, similar to what we had in the Good Lars, but obviously way heavier because they might die. And here's an actually very interesting screenshot of Topaz crying. So we might be getting a redemption arc for Topaz already, which is pretty nuts considering Topaz has not said anything, and I don't know what would be triggering that exactly. It could be because of Steven and Lars's conversation, and something a lot of people have been pointing out and that I picked up on as well is that stuck together actually could have two meanings, not only meaning Steven and Lars being stuck together within Topaz, but the two Topazes always being stuck together themselves, because it seems like this Topaz's whole purpose is that pretty much is to constantly fuse all the time for whatever reason, whether it's battle or just lifting heavy machinery or whatever it is. It seems like this is pretty much Topaz's whole purpose as like a soldier type gem or whatever, similar to the rubies, how they kind of always have to fuse, but potentially Topazes may have to do it even more so, which would be kind of a life maybe they don't want to live. Maybe they want to be their own individual people and not have to be forced to fuse all the time. So maybe Steven and Lars kind of have a conversation about how they're stuck together and they're just kind of having this really emotional moment and letting all their feelings out, and Topaz kind of picks up on that and relates to it, and we could actually potentially see Topaz gets more humanized and, like I said, have some type of redemption arc. I don't know, potentially maybe Topaz is pretending to not be able to talk, which would be very interesting, or maybe she's not allowed to talk, which would be even more interesting because that would kind of give her more of a backstory of a tragic soldier who is forced to do Homeworld's bidding, even though she doesn't really want to, wants to be her or their own individual people. And that would actually be a very interesting thing if they weren't allowed to talk for whatever reason. Don't know why that would be. I have no idea. Maybe it's just kind of a power thing. Even the rubies are able to talk, so I'm not sure. But yeah, that would be pretty interesting, especially to see if we get Topaz redeemed already within 2 or 3 episodes. That'd be pretty nuts. I kind of don't want everything to be resolved like this, though. I don't think it will be. I think Topaz could potentially be an ally in the future. I think this arc is hopefully going to bring Steven to Homeworld, which it seems like that's what they're building up to, more or less. But I'm just hoping that this isn't like an easy fix, like, oh, Topaz is actually good. she's gonna save Steven and Lars. The ends. Like, I hope it's a little more complicated than just that, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. And then we see Steven looking very shocked at something. Aquamarine possibly barging in, and they're not expecting it. This could be after Steven and Topaz have a little moment, and we see that kind of once again, where Topaz is looking pissed off and Steven is looking very worried. Again, probably related to Aquamarine. And this is they probably have some sort of bonding moment where they have a relation, they can connect, and Steven can empathize with her. And Steven is very good at understanding and empathy and all that, kind of the main theme of the show, more or less. So I could definitely see Topaz and Steven and Lars kind of conspiring against Aquamarine in a sense. But given the future episode titles like Lars's Head and everything like that, it seems like this is going to go on for a little while longer, so I don't think it's going to be as easy as Topaz just going to save them, especially since Aquamarine is so ridiculously powerful. There's really nothing that they can do, so we'll just have to wait and see. They'll almost definitely end up getting a homeworld before anything really gets resolved. I don't want to predict too much. I do think there are some other ways that things could get resolved, potentially, but I don't want to get into that just yet because I want to save that for the prediction videos that we end up doing for the future episodes and the bomb and beyond and stuff like that. So we'll get into all that later, but this is super crazy. I was not expecting to see season 5 this early, especially right after Steven Bomb 6. Actually pretty nuts. So yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like and let us know in the comments down below what you thought about this clip and these screenshots. Are you excited for this episode and this upcoming arc for the beginning of season 5? Be sure to let us know in the comments down below, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe for more Steven Universe leaks and news and reviews and theories and all those sorts of things. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I've been Michael Williams, you've been watching Cartoon Universe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.